I'm guessing, Mark, given your price targets, you think that these stocks are going to come roaring back. I mean, when I take a look at a price target of 190 on Facebook, is that year end or is that next year?
That's 12 months out. I don't think we're going to have a roar back in tech stocks between now and the end of the year. There's no obvious catalyst for names like Facebook. For Google, actually, there is. I think you have a pretty robust hardware cycle this fourth quarter, and you've got the commercialization of Waymo. Amazon should be generally a fourth quarter rally stock. Netflix, not so much. So I think it's a mixed answer. I wouldn't expect the sectors to hold a roar back between now and the end of the year.
You know, we've seen Facebook trade higher, and in today's market, outperforming the broader markets. Facebook trade higher for the past 2 days. We did have that report out from Recode, which reported that there were many users that were downloading their data more than normal, according to Facebook itself. And that may be the step just before deleting the Facebook account. When you read this, how concerned do you get, if at all?
That's very concerning. We've run our own survey work. We haven't finalized it. We'll be publishing it early next week. I just don't see, and our survey work hasn't shown a dramatic fall off in usage of Facebook. There's been a decline, but it's been more in the modest camp. And the advantage you have as a Facebook bull is that the one social media asset out there that's showing clearly ramping up usage and satisfaction scores is Instagram, which is owned by Facebook. I think they've hedged themselves. Look, I think there's a lot of wood that Facebook needs to chop. You're going to have an overhang on the stock, and momentum investors aren't going to touch this name as revenue growth continues to decelerate and margins contract. There's some point in the middle of next year where that fundamental story turns. I think patient long-term investors can make money buying the stock here. I still think it's the best risk reward in large cap internet.
My note says that technology stocks you think will outperform over the next 7 years. That is a really long time horizon. And I wonder, I'd like to have you tease that out a little bit. It's not often we hear that kind of long-term thinking. I'm proud of you. But so explain.
Do you have 7-year price targets?
So I'm sorry. There must have been a misread there. I'm glad that you're proud of me, but don't be proud of me for that. I didn't write that. So I think these are very good assets. I don't have a 7-year price target on them. I should. And I do think, by the way, these are enduring assets. Look, I referred to them as utilities. I think we're going to be using Google 10 years from now, and Facebook 10 years from now, and Amazon and Netflix. So I think you buy these stocks. They have been compounders. These have been some of the best wealth creation vehicles of the last 5 years. I think they will be over the next 5 years as well, barring crypto changes or machine learning changes. That's what I'm watching out for. I like these assets. I'm sorry I don't have a 7-year price target.
That's fine. But we got to the point there, which was the idea that you think tech will outperform, but you don't expect any kind of roarback, a snapback between now and February, let's say.
Yeah, and I just want one last thing here. Look at the fundamental trends. I think these stocks have been a lot more volatile than fundamentals. When I look back at the quarter that we just had printed, growth rates were unchanged for Google, unchanged for Amazon, unchanged essentially for Netflix. Came down a little bit for Facebook, but 38% went to 35% growth. You cannot show me another sector, or you probably can, but very few other sectors that have that kind of consistency of growth. And when investors want to come back to growth, there's a group here that's trading close to market multiples with Google and Facebook that you can buy with premium, consistent growth. That's going to be a way to make a lot of money. The question is the timing, when to get in on those stocks. For patient long-term investors, 12-month out, I think you buy these stocks right here, especially a name like Facebook. But there's not a near-term catalyst on a name like Facebook either.
Can you grade Mark Zuckerberg's performance on CNN from an investor standpoint?
I thought that was typical Zuckerberg. This is
unsatisfying?
A visionary. No. I mean, it depends on what you want. You want somebody who's going to come in and promote themselves and promote their company and their stock? I don't hear that from him. I think he's upfront about the challenges that the company's facing. I think he's fessed up to most of the responsibility that, is his and the other parts of senior management. Look, this has been a very good innovation company. I think they got blindsided 2 years ago during the elections. By the way, I think everybody else did, including the U.S. government, and they're trying to catch up. And Facebook has a lot of responsibility here. They need to step up, and they're spending a lot more. They're going through a massive investment cycle here. They're doubling down on CapEx. They're increasing their operating expenses by about 50%. So as far as I can tell, they're responding correctly. Maybe too slowly, but they are responding correctly.